Texas gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke held a town hall in Houston, Texas on Sunday. During the campaign event, the Texas Democrat condemned the January 6th attack on the Capitol. O'Rourke said, quote, "Though that attempt to overturn a lawfully, legitimately decided election was thwarted, that insurrection is still rolling through our country, one state legislature at a time." O'Rourke is running against incumbent Governor Greg Abbott, who is vying for a third term as governor and has maintained a consistent lead over the Democrat.
And the Congresswoman mentioned this attack on our democracy. And perhaps the scariest moment for many of us was wondering whether she and her colleagues would emerge from that Capitol on the 6th of January, 2021 with their lives. And we thank God that they did. But we should in the same breath acknowledge that though that attempt to overturn a lawfully, legitimately decided election was thwarted, that insurrection is still rolling through our country, one state legislature at a time. And last year, it arrived in Texas. And despite the best efforts of Symphonia Thompson and Ron Reynolds, who literally left the floor of the state house to deprive that democracy-hating majority the quorum necessary to undermine our vote, they even fled to Washington, D.C. at the risk of their careers, even their freedom. They threatened to arrest them for standing up for the right to vote. Nonetheless, those in power were able to subvert our Constitution, to make this the toughest state in the nation in which to cast a ballot or in which to register to vote. Nearly 7 million of our fellow Texans did not vote in 2020, though they were eligible to. And it's not because they're lazy. It's not because they lack any love for this great democracy. It is literally because they have been drawn out. When our state has closed down 750 polling locations, and that's twice the number of the next closest state, and we are the fastest growing state in the union. And we discover that most of those closures have occurred in the fastest growing black and brown neighborhoods in the state of Texas. When we see that line outside of TSU on election day, which I predict that we will, 6 hours deep, let us just remember that there is no good reason that anyone, especially any American, any Texan, should have to endure that indignity in this state right now. It is because those in power fear those that they are supposed to serve and to represent, and they make it harder for them, either members of Congress, present company excluded, choosing their own voters through these gerrymanders that have pushed Sheila Jackson Lee out of a district that she has represented for years, or the ability to use your license to carry a firearm to prove who you are at the polling place, but you dare not use your student ID at the University of Houston to do the same. We've got an answer to that as well. Not only must we win this election, but we must make sure that this democracy truly works for each and every single one of us. And that means automatic voter registration, same-day voter registration, online voter registration, replacing gerrymandering with citizen-led redistricting commissions, making sure that you can take the day off to vote when we replace Confederate Heroes Day with Election Day as a state holiday in the state of Texas.